Hello 456 volunteer and welcome to a quick orientation video. There's just a couple of things that I want to make sure that you are aware of, so check this out. First up, in the Southern Hills Kids Ministry, we have 3 goals. We want to be Christ-centered, family-focused, and child-targeted. And in the different environments, we do this in different ways, but we do have a large group time in 456 and a small group time. And hey, if you are a small group leader, your job doesn't begin at small group time. Your job actually begins before service begins. So we want you here maybe 15 minutes early. I'm not completely a stickler on that, but we want you here to welcome the kids. And so they're going to come in, they will check themselves in on the computers, and they will answer the question of the day. And during this is a great time to begin affirming them. In fact, if I were to give you one word to describe your job as a volunteer in 456, it would be to affirm. We want to affirm the kids as they are developing their own personal, authentic faith. So even at check-in, a great way to affirm them when they answer the question of the day is to say, hey, you're a dog person. Me too. How cool is that? Or maybe during the games while they're playing. Don't give them a hard time if they miss the ball. Continually think, affirm. How do I affirm? Now, during this large group time, we're going to be doing different things. We'll maybe play some games, do some teaching. We'll definitely be opening up the Bible. And while the kids are here, we're going to pull out these benches, and it would be great if you would disperse amongst the kids. This allows us to be able to just keep things running smoothly. So make sure that you're engaging with the kids, you're affirming with them, even in our large group time. And then in each parts of the service, we might have this thing where it's a worship response. This is something unique to the preteen ministry. So this worship response, the large group leader will describe and explain, but a lot of times it's taking a step back and figuring out, how do I respond as a result of what I learned today? And so let's see, today they're going to be doing some things with these stepping up cards. Maybe they're even pinning them onto the stage, but they're taking steps in their faith. There's also different ways that they use the Bible, they pray, and this is a great time to be a good example and a great time to affirm them. So maybe you come forward and maybe you take communion during our communion time. Definitely be engaged in the worship, and this is really a time that they might need some prayer. And so somebody might come up to you and say, hey, today we talked about this and I'm really struggling with that. Just remember that one word, affirm. You're going to be affirming them in this large group time. And then we'll break up into our small group time where we divide by age and gender. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of one of the rooms. Let's see, we'll enter room number 2. In here, you can see that it's kind of set up as a more of a living room environment. We do this because we would love for this environment of small group to feel like a family time where the family gets together and talks about things. And so this room, although it's used for kids, it's also used for a lot of biblical counseling. So whenever you leave this room, just make sure you just do a quick straighten up, make sure it looks nice for all those adults. They like things clean like that. So let's go into this room. In here, you'll see this binder is full of information. All of this is for you, the volunteer. So here's some attendance. We want to make sure that you keep track of your kids. You know who's here, and maybe even more importantly, you know who's missing. And then there's some small group materials. If you need anything like a pen, you just mark that down and we'll get you some pens. Don't worry about it. And we also have the volunteer handbook. Now, I would very, 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 very strongly recommend that you take a couple of minutes or 10 to read through this volunteer handbook. It lets you know of a lot of very important things, different expectations that we have for our volunteers, what to do if there's an emergency, who to contact, all of those different things. Really, this book is a great resource for you. It's got pretty much everything that you need. Now, while you're in your small group, you're like, well, what do I do? Good question. Here's an example of some materials, and it gives you everything that you need to do or say, even some questions that are just for fun. And these materials are designed to help facilitate discussion for you. There's going to be some activities, maybe a couple of games for you to play. But we want to make sure that during this time, we're affirming the kids. Again, there's that word, affirm. And so maybe if you have a prayer time, ask one of the kids to pray, or see if there's any volunteers who would be willing to lift the group up in prayer. And if they do maybe a prayer request time, remember, affirm. How could I affirm when they say that they need prayer for their cat or whatever it is that they ask prayer for? And you also see in this room we have some mailboxes. So if you want to receive your paperwork, your lesson materials, if you want to receive them by paper, we can make that happen. If you want them digitally, they are on the web page under the Kids Ministry tab. You'll see teacher resources, or check out the Lead Small app. There's another video, you can check that out. All kinds of really good stuff about that app. It is a great resource. So again, real quick recap. This small group time, it is a time for you to affirm the kids. Talk about what we learned this week and how it applies to them for the rest of the week. Make sure you give time for every student to be a part of things. And then have some time of prayer. And let's say you get done a little bit early. It is a-okay to give it a quick look. Looks clean? Yep, let's go. And head back to the large group time. And in here, the kids can play some more video games. They can play some Foursquare, hang out, whatever. But I do want to make sure that you know something. Some of these kids, they can leave and meet their parents in the parking lot. Others of these kids, their parents will be meeting them here and picking them up. And so it will be way beneficial if you get done early, that you keep the kids in here and continue to supervise them, even continue to affirm them while they're playing their games and hanging out. And then if you notice that the parents are getting done, at that point, those who are meeting their parents, they can leave, but just continue to make sure that we keep a safe environment for the kids. We want to make sure that they can come back week after week to continue to learn about Jesus, to continue to grow in their own faith. Now, before I let you go, I do want to let you know what it looks like for you to win. In all sports and in pretty much all of life, we need to know what it looks like for us to win. And so in 456, you win when you engage with the kids so much and you affirm them as they are growing in such a way that when they go home, when they leave, what they learned at church matters throughout the week. And so if we talk about what does it mean to be humble, you win if on Monday, when they're at school, they're practicing humility because of the steps that they take in their own faith. So that's what it looks like in 456. And real quick, if you don't have a 456 shirt, congratulations. Thank you for watching this video. Just shoot me a quick text or email. I will get you one. I'll put it in that mailbox. Just let me know what size you want, and I will make it happen. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the 456 ministry. Know that every week you make a difference with these preteens and for God and His kingdom. Thank you so much, and again, we'll catch you later.